The bikes all of us actually ride the most tend to be these mid-travel trail bikes. Rear travel between 140, 150, right about there. Front travel between 150, 160, right in that ballpark. Today we're lucky enough to be someplace really special and we have two very similar bikes. So we figured we'd do the format that you've all enjoyed previously, and Logan and I are gonna go back and forth between these two bikes on a bunch of really fun trails, and we're gonna dissect how different they actually are. You need to land right back here.
Yeah, I think I know that.
Yeah, just make it to the landing.
Ooh.
Nice, buttered.
While the Spanish versus the Germans might be best played out via FIFA matches, these two bikes are close enough that I thought it'd be fun to do a bit of a back-to-back comparison. I just published a video review all about the German-designed Spectral, and I'm still working on a video about the Spanish-designed Orbea Occam. I am not sponsored by either Orbea nor Canyon, though I've been lucky enough to get loaner bikes from each company. I will mention that my good partner, Jensen USA, does sell Orbea, and I'll drop an affiliate link to this LT model down in the description below. Just below that, you'll find a link over to my friends at Element, who did indeed sponsor this video. As for sizing, both of these two bikes are made for riders our size. I'm 5 foot 8 inches tall, or 174 centimeters, and Logan is 5 foot 7, or 171 centimeters. Orbea calls this a size medium, and confusingly enough, Canyon calls it a size small. Regardless of the terminology, both of these bikes are sized appropriately for Logan and me both. This proves there's absolutely no such thing as standardized sizing in the bike industry.
Treachery here.
Oh!
You all right?
Yeah, it's like wildly slippery.
One of my favorite things about this comparison is that it's putting geometry directly up against suspension travel. While the Canyon has 10 millimeters less travel in either end, it does have a half-degree slacker head tube angle. The resulting wheelbases are only 5 millimeters different, with the Spectral being just slightly shorter. The Occam runs 10 millimeters more travel with 160 up front and 150 out back. The Occam has a 10 millimeter longer reach and a half-degree steeper head tube angle. The Spectral uses that 150 fork with a 140 rear travel configuration. I've set both these bikes up in a way that, over the last month, I've found best complements each bike's strength. A bike is really just a frame, otherwise we'd be discussing components all day long and that would be a very different video, likely one I wouldn't make. But if you do want to see the videos I make, please do click that subscribe button below. Over the course of our 4 days of riding in the tropical lands, we both had quite a bit of time back to back on each bike. Transitioning from one to the other wasn't very challenging, and we both felt quite comfortable in either rig. Now let's drop in and put these two bikes into a trail test.
How's your bike climbing?
Climbs well. It feels better than I would expect with this big bag on, actually.
This thing climbs smooth, steady, keeps grinding. No real complaints.
One thing that surprised me is looking at this, it looks like a slack seat tube, and I would think that it would make me feel like I'm falling off the back, but I do not feel like that.
Offset very far forward. The seat tube is in relation to the bottom bracket to artificially make it steeper. I think its actual angle is kind of slack. But.
Yeah, I had an older bike with a really slack seat tube and it sucked to climb, and so like seeing this, it made me worried, but yeah, it works well. One thing that I do like, which you never seem to use, but the lockout on this, but I do like how the lockout feels. Like it's wildly stiff. I would definitely use that on a long road climb.
So we're actually putting in some time to set up the suspension on both bikes to be a little bit too soft for me and just only slightly too stiff for Logan.
First time ever.
I mean, I feel like just leaving them as I ride them keeps them consistent. And you're used to riding my bikes always being super stiff.
Something about these two.
That one feels stiffer.
Seem stiffer than normal. I think maybe you just weigh more.
Yeah, I'm like 175. You're like 150?
145 maybe?
We'll go down to 200 PSI. All right, see how much sag that gets you. For a properly even break in. So now I am up just right at 30% sag. How much air did you let out? 2 squirts?
2 squirts.
Okay. We have no idea.
Is Fox not allowed to put the numbers on?
Yeah, it's patented by RockShox.
That is absurd.
Smart move.
My neck, this bag is hurting my neck.
Yeah, that's not good. My neck is sore snorkeling this morning. Treachery here.
Oh!
You all right?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Watch out for your head. Yeah. So if you've all been wondering why Logan films the videos, this is gonna be why. I know what you're thinking. It looks cold out. There's snow everywhere. Yes, that's true. I've got a really good cycling kit and it works great, but when I get out in the hotter, more open, sunny areas, I start sweating a bunch. This makes hydrating for these kind of shoulder season rides a bit more challenging than normal. On a bike like this, I'm only bringing one water bottle. One thing I've done to get a little bit more return on investment for carrying some water, in my water bottle, I'll just run a real simple electrolyte solution. I've been lucky enough to partner with folk over at Element, spelled LMNT, and they make a really simple electrolyte supplement, just sodium, potassium, magnesium, tiny bit of stevia, make it yummier. And I found that with one of these in my water bottle, I can go quite a bit further before I get any kinds of cramping or telltale signs of dehydration, lightheadedness, making bad choices. I've got a link in my description below, it takes you over to Element's website. It's drinklmnt.com/Jeff. And anything you purchase from that link will get you a free sample pack, which is pretty cool. They've got some pretty unique flavors. This is the watermelon salt flavor, and it makes cold rides like this a little bit more cheery. Stay salty, everyone, and always pack your trash.
First go on the Spectral.
It's about as good as I'm ever gonna get at filming. Sorry, everyone.
All right, here we go. First time hopping on the Occam in a day. All day yesterday I was on the Canyon, and then pedaling up today I was on the Spectral. Now I'm on the Occam. Let's see how it feels. Immediately when I hopped on it to pedal it up for a second, I was surprised at what was a more comfortable pedaling position to me. They both felt fine, and I didn't really have an issue with the Canyon, but when I hopped on this one, I did notice how much more I liked it. So hard to get comfortable on this trail because it's such a skinny bench cut. Definitely feels bigger to me. Also feels more plush.
So you've just ridden this section of trail once on the Spectral and once on the Occam. What are your thoughts, Mr. Nelson?
Both bikes feel great. To start, I was on the Canyon first. I think it has maybe a touch more poppy feeling to it, and this one to me has a bit more plush feeling to it. But in the grand scheme of bikes, I think they both are quite poppy.
Which one was more fun?
That's really tough. It's very similar. That one seems to get off the ground easier. Like if I want to bunny hop something or bump jump or a combination of the two, that one seems to do it with less effort. I don't know. I don't know if I could say that one is more fun than the other. I think if I had to say currently, I feel more comfortable on this bike all around.
I'm excited to go get a turn and do this. You good, Logan?
Yeah.
Feels pretty good, feels pretty solid. I got no comparisons until I've ridden that section on this bike. All right, here we go, Spectral, first time through this section. I've ridden this bike a lot the last couple of days. Wow, bikes are definitely different. They're both good. I immediately noticed, like my main takeaway from this whole section is that on the little canyon, it felt more precise. It felt easier to keep it on the trail. It felt like I knew where each wheel was gonna end up, and I just kind of had more control. I think because the trail's so tight, slightly smaller bike just fits in there a little bit better. This thing was great. I really like this through this section. Occam was good, but man, it's an easier bike to ride in the sense that you want to try something like a wheelie or a jump, it'll do it with less input, whereas the Occam feels like slightly safer. Just bigger, slacker, more support. It's probably not slacker, it's probably the same head angle. Just feels bigger. Let's go find some trails where this bike's less comfortable and that one's more comfortable. I'll follow you.
That's a nice rock.
Yeah, watch your fingers. That's pretty chill. Have you hit many jumps on that bike?
That's the first one.
Oh, roosting. So how do they differ in jumping?
I kind of landed to flat on both of them. It's a very short jump, but you kind of land past the landing. Just bottomed each of them out, but it wasn't harsh.
I heard a lot more roost coming from the canyon when you ripped through that right.
I think, yeah, I just went a little faster in that turn. I don't know if there's a reason. Maybe I just had ridden it once before. As far as jumping, I think they both felt good, like a nice amount of support on the takeoff. If you're someone who pulls really hard off of takeoffs, trying to get as much air as possible, this bike, I think, is maybe a little bit more efficient at that. It seems to go higher, easier. I guess your turn.
Sweet, can't wait to rip. Oh! Oh! This thing's sweet. Feels like a skateboard. Just push it right through the turns. Responds really well to rider input. Nice. To me, this section was more about the 3 corners than it is the one jump. The jump was fine on both bikes. I didn't really yank for it much on either one. But in the corners, that one broke traction a little bit sooner, but it had a nice balance to it when it did. And it was just kind of fun because it fit through that turn real well. This one's a bit bigger. Didn't break traction quite as easily. It was predictable, it was stable. I don't know, I feel like I had more security with the Occam through the corners. I just kind of knew it was gonna be okay. With that guy, I knew I could decide what was gonna happen. They were both fun. This was like confidence inspiring and that was playful and fun. When I was pumping through the turns, they both responded really well. That one to me feels a scotch softer, kind of as though this is firmer off the top and then it has less mid-stroke and then more bottom out resistance. Whereas that one's just a little bit more normal. We can talk more about suspension later. I have noticed that neither one of these bikes, going through all the stutter routes, which there are many around here, neither one really accelerates through them all that great. They both slow down a tad. The dual link, like the Pivot or the Ibis or whatever, those do have a bit of an advantage through that stuff, or maybe the Yeti, the SB160 or the SB140. They kind of scooch through that stuff a little quicker, but is that a real big deal? Probably not. Anyhow, let's go try some gnarlier stuff. Something that's more technical than the jump we just shot would be sweet. If we have the jump, we have the little narrow side hill flow trail. It'd be cool to have something slightly more techy. Oh, watch the old foot. Wait, 1, 2, 3, let's do the slab. It looks like there's just a trail down the creek bed.
Yeah.
Waterfall slab, try 1 on the Ock, technically try 2. All right. Oh, the little guy, this bike's so small. Before we get into the bikes, everyone say hello to our friend Ben. We just bumped into him a second ago. He watches the channel. Howdy. That's Boston Ben. It was really fun doing this on both bikes. I noticed 2 main differences between the Occam and the Spectral. The Occam, beautiful through this. Feels solid, feels in charge, feels very appropriate. I almost wanted to do more, go for more, go faster, all the things. When I dropped it on the Spectral, immediately, it was fun and it felt okay. But it felt a little bit more nervous. I felt like I had more weight kind of out front, not on the front wheel, but the center of balance is more forwards. Because of that, I didn't have quite the same confidence. And I think part of that is because it's so low. So between the lower front end and the shorter overall length or whatnot, I didn't have nearly the same confidence. And it did it all fine. It wasn't scary or anything, but that's a spot where the Occam, yeah, right here's the spot where the Occam has the advantage. Taller bars, a little bit bigger feel. Your weight bias is a touch more, kind of. It just feels a tad safer because it is a bigger bike. Both bikes did it. I would be happy riding this on either one. If all my trails were nothing but this, I would prefer the Occam. If all my trails were tight little switchbacks and really narrow, I'd probably prefer this one. And that's how it's been going. Let's give Logan a chance to try both bikes back to back now that I've hopefully not influenced his opinion.
Felt good when I kind of just hucked it through all this too.
Dude, that didn't even look exciting.
At the bottom, when I hooked off the rock, it felt way better. More controlled, less harsh. I wasn't unsure on the outcome of what was gonna happen. On the canyon, I was kind of like, oh, I might crash. That one felt more controlled through the big rough stuff. Though on like the little pick turn maneuver, it felt more natural on the canyon to me.
So far, it's seeming like the flatter and slower canyon does better. Steeper and rowdier, Orbea does better.
Yeah, it's just tough to compare because to me, they feel quite similar. Yeah, I know, they both are really good. I would be happy doing this on either of the bikes, as you said.
But instead of these bikes, people should go to my Pink Bike buy sale page and buy my old bikes instead.
Yeah, you could do that.
Well, I'll go ride the next trail.
You say both of the bikes are really good?
Yeah, ha ha ha. I try to never ever make that joke.
Oof.
Yeah.
No. Well, actually, no, I don't think it'd be enough speed. I feel like I'd pull up and then nose case and then fall.
I think it's okay.
It might actually go. I don't think it's not gonna work. It could. I just don't, because you.
So this is how you do the zooming without it shaking as much.
You're doing what's called the claw.
Is it a faux pas?
Yeah, you can do whatever you want, but it is more stable in my experience.
To hold it from underneath?
Oh, I almost washed the front end on the first part.
You don't have to huck this if you're not feeling it.
No, you have to. I can't do that turn as well as you. Ooh. Almost.
Try it on the Spectral.
I'll try it. Free ride.
Looks like you're going up Everest. Easier, no?
Maybe. A little tiny bit, maybe. Yeah, it was close, very close.
Which bike was easier?
I mean, maybe this one. I think this one, ever so slightly. Not as much the turn, like you said, but the very, like the short pull off of the rock, it pulls easier off of that. And you know, then there's the whole thing where I did it like, 4 times and the first times were on the other bike. I think ever so slightly, I felt more confident doing the really tight turn in a small space on this bike.
All right, I want a fender. And I just go ahead and blow that corner now that I'm gonna show you how easy it is. Mm-hmm. It's always easier the first time. Oh, this bike feels good. Oh yeah, 2 bikes, 1 jump. Before we even got the camera out, I hit that thing on the Spectral. First try, no problem, smooth, easy, totally worked. I think I GoPro'd it. We shot Logan, and then I tried on the Spectral again, and I kind of flailed my way down, but that's how it goes sometimes. And then on the Occam here, I just looked at it and thought, fly, and it took off, looking for some kind of like mosquito or something to eat in flight. Yeah, this bike just feels a bit bigger and more stout and robust. So once you're at the higher speed, pushier stuff, yeah, Orbea feels a little bit more into it. But yeah, I don't know, I'm just surprised that I flailed the second time. That's how it goes. I got really nothing constructive to say here besides both bikes can do it. Just depends how you're feeling and how the tires end up landing.
Oh my God. Watch your feet. I slipped the pedal right before that. Somehow got it back on. Nice. This is sick. Oh my God. This feels like mountain biking back in the Northwest. Wow.
That was kind of exciting.
That was a sweet trail.
Oh, nice, nice.
That was loose.
I didn't think you were gonna go for that.
I didn't really either.
That's a big tree. That's the biggest tree I've seen in so far. For any other tree tourists out there. Oh, sweet.
Whoa, that's a jump.
It's a double, perfectly sized.
Wow.
Oh, I kind of want to jump that. So what do you got going on over here?
I like put this down and pushed it and it made a noise and then I realized.
Oh, that's not good. That one presses through. So we gotta tighten this side. Oh yeah, that was loose. All right, try your squiggly wiggly.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Sweet. Do a little gardening before dropping in here. You good, Logan?
Yeah. Locked it up.
That's the best jump of this whole trip. That thing's sweet.
Okay.
You need to land right back here.
Yeah, I think I know that.
Yeah, just make it to the landing.
Ooh. That sounded bad.
Sounded like you not crashing.
Sounded like the headset loosening.
Better to go a little too far. A little wonky, eh?
Yep.
The old jamming salmon.
Oh yeah.
I do that again?
That's the warm up.
Yeah. This is the warm up to get ready for the huck. You know what? You look ready.
Feels good. That's it.
All right. Nice, buttered. Clearly this bike jumps better.
They feel similar enough that you can just hop on them back to back with 0 run-in.
You had a warm-up hop. Props to the trail builders that noticed this was here.
After riding these two bikes back to back on all these features, as well as over the course of the whole trip, we were sort of left with the frustratingly vague conclusion of mountain biking is awesome. Sarcasm aside, both these bikes are indeed excellent rigs. They're the result of continuous refinement over several model years, and both of them really do work great on the trail. The Spectral might have been slightly easier to get in the air with its shorter length and travel, but the Occam might have been slightly more confident in sketchy landing situations. This would then inspire the rider to pull extra hard. Both these bikes do kind of the same thing, just in slightly different ways. As we discuss bikes, it's easy to get caught up in the tech talk of the numbers, but the reality is, that's just one measurement, whether travel, angles, or lengths, and that's rarely enough to really describe how a bike feels. If I were shopping for a bike and if I were between these two, I'd go for the Occam if I rode bigger mountains and steeper trails. I'd go for the Spectral for easier terrain. And the Occam for me is more of a one-bike quiver, at least where I live, whereas the Spectral would love to sit next to a longer travel enduro bike. But that's a whole other discussion. If you did enjoy this video, please do click that subscribe button down below. That'll really help us out. Also, please check out each of our Instagram pages, and please share some love to our friends over at Element. Peace and wheelies, y'all. I'll see you in the next video.